In previous lesson, we've learned how to create new pack. In this lesson, we're gonna learn how to edit pack. First, this delete button work. So if we press here, the pack is gonna be deleted. But this edit button, it doesn't work yet. We didn't add any handler to it. So first, let's go to our pack component, book card, and scroll down. See, this is the delete icon, and this is the container of it, has a on press handler, on delete item. Let's add, but this is the edit button, doesn't have. So let's add on press handler to it, and let's make it, for example, on edit item or back, whatever you want. This is the name of the prop. So let's pass this beside the delete as property. So now we can do something when we press on this button. Now let's close our book card and go to our home screen. And down here, let's use our property on edit item equals to function on edit item. This is a function and pass the item. This is a function that we will create it right now. So let's go up here and create this function. Const on edit item. It takes the item. And let's for now log our item to see. Now let's open the terminal and see the log. When we press here, log, we can log the data of the item. For example, book title, name of author, book price. Let's try with Soul. Log, book title is Soul. That's the cover. That's the name of the author. Now we can get access to our item here. But how to create our API call? We want, when we press on here, we want to show up this modal. Okay? So let's, when we press on edit item, let's open the modal. So let's set modal visible to be true. Okay, so first set modal visible is gonna be true. So when we press here, our modal is open. Look, but the data doesn't appear here. We need to add the data. For example, if we press on edit Soul, this edit button, the Soul title and the price and the cover URL must be appear in those inputs. How to do that? That's pretty easy. We just need to pass a couple of props. So we're gonna go to our add box screen and let's add a prop called selected item. Okay, this property is gonna take some data. What is the data that is gonna take? It's a data that we're gonna take from here. We want to put this item in a state value to pass it as a prop to this screen, to this modal screen. Okay, so let's create another state, use a state hook to store our state of selected box. So let's name it with selected item or selected box and set selected item. It's gonna be equals to use state and it's gonna be an object. Okay, and when we press on edit item, we're gonna set the selected item to this item. Okay, and finally we're gonna pass this selected item to this add box screen. So we're gonna scroll down here inside add box screen. We're gonna use the third prop called selected item. Is gonna be equals to the selected item from our state. So now let's delete this log and go to our add screen to see. Now, if we just press on this hole, now we are in add box screen. Let's try to log this selected item instead of this box name. So let's log selected item and press save and see in the log. Look, now we have here the last log, book title, the cover, and so. So now we're gonna create a simple condition here inside those use states. We're gonna make this simple condition. If we have selected item dot book title, just render it as initial state. Otherwise, make it empty. Now let's press save and see. Look, when we press save, our title appears here. What happens here? We just tell him, if you have this selected item property, just take the data from it. For example, the book name, take the book title and render it. If you don't have it, just keep it empty, string. Okay. Second, the author name. We're gonna do the same thing. If you have selected item dot the author name of author, just render it or keep it empty string. Now that's the author name. Let's do the same thing with cover URL. If you have selected item dot cover, just take it or keep it empty. And finally, if you have selected item dot price of book from here, or just render empty string. Look, now we have here those 4 things. But we get another issue. How to know this save button, will it do edit or create? What should it do? That's pretty easy. We're gonna see if we have an object with selected item, we're gonna make it edit. If we don't have this object, we're gonna make it create. If we just converted our selected item to Boolean, those 2 marks to convert our object or our data to a Boolean. So it returns here a true. Let's clear the log to show you. Look, it's true. Okay. So if this is true, we're gonna edit the bug. If it's not true, we're gonna create a new bug. Okay. So now let's create our edit bug function. But before we edit our bug, we just need to go to our HTTP and to make it a little change in our update bug function. The first change, we're gonna pass the body. Okay. The body, because this is the body, we're gonna update. The second change, we're gonna replace this static ID of 8 and to make it dynamic. So let's add another property, for example, ID, and pass it here. Okay, now let's go to our add book screen and try to use this add book update book API. So let's create another function, or we can take a copy of this function. So let's just copy it like this and make some changes. For example, we're gonna rename this to be edit book. And this API call, we're gonna fire a update book from HTTP here. Okay, we just need to add the missing property is ID, and this ID is gonna be selected item dot ID. Selected item dot ID. Now let's press save and finally go to our save button, and we're gonna fire on press. We're gonna do this condition. If we have selected item and it's true, just fire this function, edit book function. Otherwise, create book function. So if we have selected item, we're gonna edit this item. But if we don't have selected item, we're gonna create a new item. So let's try with Sol. Let's make this Sol, let's change it to be, for example, updated. And let's make the price, for example, 100. And now let's press save. And now let's try to save and see. Look, book has been updated and the title become updated and the price become 100. Let's go and update this AAAPPP book. Let's go on this button and let's change the AAA. For example, let's make it updated number 2. and the author is updated success, and the price, let's make it 200, and the image URL, let's use this image. Let's copy the link of it and paste it here and press save. Now book has been updated, and we see here updated number 2, updated success, and 200. Now you've learned how to update items. One last change. What if we press here? We got here a bug. Why we got this bug? Because in our home screen we stored the selected item and we didn't clear the state. So we need to just clear the state when we press on add button here. So we're gonna go to this button. We just set modal visible to be true here. We need to do another thing. The other thing is gonna be clear our state, clear our selected item state to make it an empty object. Look, like this. So when we press on here, we're gonna show the modal and clear our selected item. Why clear selected item? Because this selected item is gonna be empty object. So when we go in add box screen, it's gonna be false. So when it's false, it's gonna create a new POC, not edit POC. Okay. Now let's press save and see. Look, now it's empty. When we press here, those fields are empty. But if we press here and enter, those are filled with data. If we press here and updated, those are filled with data. If we press here, the fields are empty. I know this app doesn't have the best UI, but I just wanted to focus on handling HTTP requests and how to call APIs, how to connect with database, how to handle backend APIs. And I hope this lesson was easy. And I hope this lesson was clear and simple for you. And since this is not the best UI, I have a task for you. Please create a wonderful UI for this app and train yourself to make a different API calls.